Hello guys, so this week's video is going to be a Meet the OCs video, and this one is going to be all about Nickolas and Rosanna. These two characters are actually background characters in other OC stories. So Nickolas is a background character in my OC Loki's story, and Rosanna is a background character in Reese and Rocco's story. Starting with Nickolas, and also Nickolas is going to be the longest part of this video because all those details in his outfit just took a really long time. Just before I start telling the story, there was actually a reference picture that I used for his pose, and it was actually a picture that was taken back in my college days, and it's actually of my little sister. Nickolas is a part of Loki's backstory. In Loki's backstory, you hear that Nickolas's mother, Camilla, kills off Loki's mother to become queen. Now, of course, Loki, in the position that she's in, thinks that Nickolas is somewhat an accomplice, even though he never was. When I've talked about Nickolas in the past, it's always been from the perspective of Loki, never from the perspective of Nickolas. So it came off that he was an evil character, but if you look deeper into it, he's not. He's actually the most selfless character in the whole story. After Loki escaped her time lock prison, she ran away. And who was there to pick up all the pieces afterwards? Nickolas. But even though Nickolas is very selfless, he's also cunning, conniving. He knows how to manipulate a situation, and that's because of his upbringing. He was brought up by Camilla, so of course he's going to be like that. Since I'm dealing with royal characters, I thought it was only appropriate to do a royal family tree. Camilla, Nickolas's mother, is actually a very self-made sort of person, and she actually rose to the role of countess very quickly in royal circles, even though she wasn't even part of the aristocracy of Loka. Nickolas's father, on the other hand, was actually incredibly prestigious. He was captain of the Royal Guard, a role that Nickolas now has. Even though that sounds pretty cute that the son has his father's role and is following in his footsteps, actually, Nickolas never grew up with his father, and that's not because his father wasn't loving, it's because his father was killed. There was a conspiracy that Camilla killed her husband Thomas, but I think it's far more likely he was killed in battle, or killed in action, or however you want to say it. Even though, considering Camilla's future actions of killing Loki's mother, I wouldn't put it past her that she also killed her husband as well. Whether Thomas was killed in battle or whether he was killed by his wife, I'll leave it up to your own interpretation. The most interesting part about having a family tree is that I actually thought about another character that I could link to Nickolas as well, this being Jalal. Now, you might think it's a bit crazy, but it actually makes sense. Jalal's family tradition is all about marrying well to actually avoid the curse that Jalal ended up having. There's a lot of aristocracy in his background, so somewhere up in the family tree he's actually linked to Jalal. I think it's 5th cousins removed. I can't be too sure because I've always had a problem with knowing the titles for relations, but I always know it when I can see a family tree and visual. I'm sorry if I've just dropped a complete bombshell on you. But then again, handsome genes run in the family, obviously. But as I said in the beginning, Nickolas's outfit took so long to do. Now, this speed paint was done more or less as a way to redesign the character and just put it in more detail and make it a little bit more accurate to how it would be, because royal outfits are full of detail. And his previous design, even though I liked it, it just felt a bit too bare, especially since he was supposed to be Captain of the Royal Guard and an honorary Prince of Loka. People were really shocked when I announced that he was actually a good character over a bad character. That's also something about his story that I reformed over time. It just made more sense. His mother, Camilla, was actually her own shade of evil, and Nickolas really had nothing to do with that. Camilla just brought him along for the ride, essentially. But in all honesty, Loki's dad, the king, actually really does like Nickolas. The king sees a lot of Thomas in Nickolas, who was his friend. So the next character we have is Rosanna. Rosanna is actually a part of the twins' backstory, Rocco and Reese. She's a very shy and sensitive kind of girl who is also an artist. Now her powers are to bring drawings to life. I got this idea from The Worst Witch TV show because they played around with the idea of Mildred Hubble actually bringing her drawings to life, which was incredible, and I really did like that concept, so I gave it to my character Rosanna. Rosanna's personality is purely based off my own. I'm very shy in real life. I might come off as like extroverted through my videos, but in public I'm just like introvert and very socially awkward. Rosanna's slightly more of an average weight compared to the other characters. My other characters are on the slimmer side because that's how I like to draw them, that's how my style is. But with Rosanna, Rosanna is meant to be more curvy. In her background, she was called fat. She was called all sorts of different names, which is horrible, and it reminds me of high school for me. High school for me was absolutely terrible, but even though it was so awful, it made me into who I am. It gave me that backbone, that willingness to stand up for myself. It basically broke me before YouTube could ever break me, and I felt like that is exactly the kind of thing I wanted for Rosanna, because your experiences make you into the person that you are. The fact that my high school was so bad, it actually made me and moulded me into the person I am today. It surprises me in every way, but the experiences also haunt me at the same time because how bad they were, and I feel like that is something that is also there as well. Out of all the OCs, Rosanna is the most like me. Yes, Loki has my sense of humour, Melissa has my childish nature, Jalal has my sense of sadness about what's happened in the past. Also, Rosanna's a background character, and my entire life I've always felt like a background character to somebody else's story, and it kind of makes sense that I would make the character most like me a background character, since I've always felt like this. She's also a big sister type, because she's kind of a big sister to the twins, even though they're not blood related. And I'm also a big sister. I have a little sister of my own, she's 2 years younger than me. And I've heard some of my viewers also call me the big sister type. Whether you want to confirm that down in the comments, you can. So that pretty much concludes the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you can like this video, and you can also comment down below saying what you think of these characters, which one of them is your favourite. Do you relate to them in any kind of way? Because I definitely relate to Rosanna. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!